What is up, everybody? My name is Zelkenon, bringing you another Smite tips and tricks. And we're back in Conquest, so we have the ADC, aka Hunter, or aka Duo Lane, to do, and next up will be the Jungler. But today is the Hunter, so right off the bat, I kind of got my basic starter items and I hit level 3 already. So when you first start off as a Hunter, you definitely want to be in the duo lane, and you'll be paired up with another guardian, most likely, if not a warrior. So the first items to get, it kind of depends up to you on how you play it or how well you are. If you're kind of new to the Hunter role or kind of new to Conquest or whatever, and you want to play it safe, Death Toll is always a great starter item. Highly recommended. You get your power, your health, and your attack speed. And also, really, the passive sometimes gets overlooked, but it's a really great passive, because you may get poked a couple times by the enemy Hunter or the enemy Guardian, or you might get ganked or whatever, and or your other dual laner, your Guardian, may have to leave and go float over the mid lane or has to go recall. So as you see, we get plus 5 HP per hit. This is pretty nice overall, because you're gonna be attacking these mobs for quite a while as the Hunter. So I haven't bought anything else since the first starting gold, so I went with the Death Toll and just regular boots 1, and then I got the sprint 1 and beads 1. These actives are very common for the Hunter, mainly because the sprint allows you to either escape more or chase after the enemy, and just be more slippery in team fights or when you're being chased or whatever. So it's a really great item. Also for beads. Beads are really useful because a lot of gods have hard CC. Either they're trying to pull you in or stun you, or whatever the case may be. So these are the typical Hunter items, actives, sorry, to get. Now, if you're more, you're pretty talented, or you're going to fight some weak people, maybe you're smurfing or whatever you're doing, you definitely may want to go Heartseeker. Now, this is the more, let's just say, ballsy item. Reason being, one, just going to say it's really cheap and it's very effective. That's good. But the trick is the passive. You gain plus 1 physical power per stack. It's up to 50 stacks, so that's plus 50 physical power if you have this thing filled on top of your plus 25. So that's a lot of power. You receive 2 stacks for a god kill and 1 stack for minion kill, but these stacks are halved on death. So if you're not, oh god, I'm being attacked. So if you're not planning on dying much or at all, or you're a really good farmer, or whatever, you just want to go for the high risk item, that is definitely the one to get. So it's high risk but really high rewards at the same time. So that would be your first starter item. That's your very first item if you're gonna go that route. So ignore the boots, ignore the Death Toll, because that pretty much acts as your boots, as it has movement speed increase. If you don't remember, it is right here. So plus 8, it did get nerfed. It was plus 10%, but now it's plus 8. So you may start, you're gonna have enough gold for only the second one, because you start with 1500 gold, so this is 1200. So you have enough for like a couple potions and maybe 1 active of your choice, so whatever. So power and movement speed, and then you quickly go back, and as soon as you can buy this, go ahead and recall back and buy this item and get back straight to lane and start clearing some minions to get those stacks up. But like I said, that's the more high risk but high reward. If you're kind of new to the god or the role or Conquest or the game or whatever, go ahead and stick with Death Toll and boots 1, and these actors you may want to look into buying them. That's just my suggestion. So let's go ahead and kill him, and let's go ahead and down this tower real quick so we can recall. There we go. So you may be asking, like, I'm new to Conquest or Smite or the Hunter role in Conquest, or the dueling or whatever. Like what gods are easy to play or the best. Apollo is easily one of the most played and probably the highest win-loss ratio in the North America tournament right now. Maybe even EU tournament for European, of course. Other really popular Hunters are Neith, because she has a very large global presence with her ulti, Also, Cupid maybe played a few times. He did get nerfed, so I haven't really been seeing him too much often, but he's still a really great god. He didn't get nerfed too hard. On her is probably maybe the second or third most common near Neath. Reason being because his scaling on his power and his basic attacks are really high. The problem is he kind of requires more skill due to his 2. You have to aim it right, and if you want to get reap the full benefit from it, you have to kind of pin somebody down to a wall or your obelisk that you set up. So those are mainly the top hunters. AMC, Amuzuncob, he can be quite hard to play. Reason being he's very mana hungry, and most people are not too smart on how they use their abilities with Amuzuncob. The main way to play him is kind of conserve your abilities and really just kind of put your points to your 1, your hives, and kind of rely more on your basic attacks, and just kind of shoot your 2 and 3 out when you know you can hit somebody or they're about to die or they're trying to push you. But mainly Apollo is really great, but he does kind of require you to be skillful in landing his basic attacks due to his passive. You fill this meter up above his little picture on the bottom here. You fill that up, and your next 5 basic attacks, hit or miss, have your attack speed increased by 100%. So we filled up, I mean, we didn't fill up, but we bought our Heartseeker, and we're going to go ahead and buy combat boots. So, running out of breath there. So when you're in the dual lane and you're with your guardian, make sure he gets like Hand of Gods. Reason being is because you definitely want to get your mana buff here. Let me go ahead and mark it. This right here. Don't let anybody try to get this. You really want to keep this for yourself. Reason being, you're going to be staying in your lane maybe most of the time, depending on how your team fight goes and whatnot. I kind of missed that. Have your guardian or jungler get this for you. This way you can save more in lane, and you can fill up your stacks on your Heartseeker. Or you can go with Dev Gloves, which I'll show you here. So let's say you're still new and you don't want to mess with the Heartseeker at all, okay? And if you're already dying and or shut down, please don't get Heartseeker, because if you're already shut down, you know you have more deaths than kills. You're not going to get too much benefit from the Heartseeker itself. So Dev Gloves is the safer route to stack items. Now, typically hunters or ADCs or whatever you want to call them in a dual lane, they don't start with this right away. They get this about their 2nd or 3rd item. So like you can get it instead of boots, or it's up to you. I would just get this as my 3rd item just to be safe. So have Death Stole, your combat boots, and get Devourer's Gloves. Now this is the safer route because you have you're already flat 10% lifesteal and you're flat plus 30 physical power. But the passive is plus 0.5 physical power and plus 0.25% physical lifesteal per stack, and receive 5 stacks for per god kill, which that's quite a bit, and 1 stack per minion kill. Max stack 60, so that's 30 physical power and whatever amount of lifesteal. I'm not gonna do the math right now. That's probably like 15% more lifesteal. So that's 60 physical power overall when that's filled, and 25% lifesteal. That's pretty nice. It's somewhat kind of pricey. I don't know, 2100 is not too bad. But most people, they don't stack that with your Heartseeker because that's too many stack items. So it's either like one or the other. So let's go ahead and get more stacks just by you do have to get the last hit. So if you don't finish off like a mob or whatever, you're not going to get the stack item. Okay. Push that up a bit. So back to what I was talking about, global presence with Neath. Basically, her ulti allows her to shoot an arrow across the map, as long as it does not get body blocked by an enemy god and stunning them. Well, Apollo has also a global presence, which is why he's played so much, because he's able to split push, and he's able to pretty much land in any team fight anywhere he wants to. And I'll talk about that more in a second. So let's say you're by yourself in the duo lane, your guardian's out starting a team fight or just roaming around, and your team needs you. So you go ahead and hit your 4, takes a second to cast, but you're immune to CC. You go ahead, and now you have this complete global presence to kind of land. If you need Gold Fury, boom, you're at Gold Fury, ready to fight and contest it and try to get it for your team. Or same thing, if you're trying to get Fire Giant, you can easily go all the way over here to Fire Giant and get that. Or you want to help your mid laner with the mid side camps to get that extra XP. Boom, you're right here. You can go ahead and get that. So, but you do want to be careful with it because the longer you're in your chariot, the more mana it's going to cost you. So it drains your mana the longer you're in it. So I have an idea of where you're going to land already. So let's go ahead and clear that up a little bit. And I just got a text message. Sorry for that. Very unprofessional. I get that. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Okay, so we got some gold. Let's go ahead and go back. Also, let's talk about more with the split push with Apollo, and the reason why he's probably the top played hunter is because he's able to just focus on one lane, clear it all, mainly with his basic attacks and or his one, and just able to hit ulti and boom, he's out of the way because there's gonna be a big team fight on another side of the map, and the enemy team may send a few guys your way to flush you out and or gank you, so you get some damage off on a tower, and you get the pings to leave, or enemies incoming or whatever. You see them on wards in the left jungle, go ahead, hit your fort, and boom, you're out of there. So Apollo is very flexible and really great split pusher. He's also pretty decent in the in team fights as well. So since we're rolling with Heartseeker, we're not going to get dev gloves. Let's go over. I was going to see what's in the recommended. I probably would not get Soul Eater. Executioner's not bad. Rage is not bad. Yeah. These are not too bad, except I would not get Soul Eater. That's more of an assassin type thing. So I hate this broken UI on the very bottom there. So we have 1.1 attack speed. So we need more power and attack speed. So let's go 100 attack speed and power. Shouldn't say, so we want to work on that. Yeah, let's work on getting that next. Alright, so text message and yeah, nothing important. So let's go ahead and go. Go ahead and go. Okay, so I'm going to be wrapping up here soon. I'm just going to touch on some other things that I can think of here a little bit. And then the next episode will be the jungler, which I have to work on that because I'm not too fond of jungling. I mean, I can do it. It's just I don't know the exact timers on all the mobs, the mob camps and buff camps and all that stuff. So that is fairly important to be a jungler, is knowing where the enemy jungler is and when the camps are going to be up. So I'll try to practice and learn that more for that episode. This kind of shows the power of Apollo and the Heartseeker. So we're still working on stacks. So you may be wondering, like, when should I sell my starter item? Well, typically most people they leave their starter item to the very end of the match, and they sell the starter item, and that becomes your very last item, like Deathbringer or whatever. So, or if you need the gold for whatever item, you may want to sell it more towards mid game. Mid game meaning about either now at 15-minute mark, or try to wait till like the 20-minute mark. It kind of depends on how far you have on gold as a team, and how far you're winning or close to losing, or whatever the case may be. So that definitely varies. So pretty much after you down your first tower on the duo lane, you want to kind of try to roam around and see if you can help your mid laner or whatever. If you're either Apollo or Neith, watch out for those nice opportunities for your ulti to help out your teammates. If not, it's not too bad to kind of focus on your lane and kind of do the split push like I was talking about, especially if you're Apollo. If you're Apollo, you can totally get away with split pushing. So, if your team's yelling at you to come help in the team fights, you can just hit that forward button and boom, you're in that team fight, ready to roll. And you may want to put more points into your sprint. That's another act that gets kind of overlooked. Now that they kind of, I guess they buffed it, pretty much meaning they lower the price on it, so you can get tier 3 boots at the price of 600 gold versus the typical 900 gold. So it's really great if you're trying to slip and slide in between team fights or just solo fights or chase somebody down. It's really great. So If you need that extra speed, make sure to use that. Now, in the very beginning, you are going to need that mana buff every single time, so keep an eye out on the timer for that. Sorry, I don't know the exact timer for it. I think it's every 3 minutes it's up, but I could be wrong on that. So just keep in mind on that. After you reach about early, mid game, late game, you're not going to need that mana buff. The mana buff is just to keep you more sustained in the very beginning. It kind of push your lane a bit more because your guardian typically goes through quite a bit of mana. And they're not always with you all the time. They're not going to be clearing the minions, so you are. For some reason I thought I can get that, but that's been fixed a long time ago. So you can go for like an attack speed buff or a red buff. I'd probably go with red buff, especially if you're a hunter, since you mainly have high attack speed already. You need more power. Okay, so we got that. We have full stacks right now. So with just these 3 items and our red buff, we have 150 power. So this Heartseeker is really nice. But like I said, as soon as you die, it's cut in half. It is gone. So just want to say that again. If you're dying quite often, or you are gonna die, just don't get Heartseeker. Get the death gloves. At about level 11 or so, as I said in my Guardian video, probably you and your Guardian and maybe your jungler, or if you need to, your jungler can too. You guys could probably duo the Gold Fury with just the Guardian and the Hunter. Of course, that varies depending on how many items you have, how strong you are, and whatnot. But mainly you can probably duo that around level 11. If necessary, just to be safe, call your jungler out. Just be aware of making sure the rest of the team, either your jungler, your mid laner, or your guardian, or somebody on your team is placing down wards as its objectives, such as Gold Fury and Fire Giants. If it's not time for Fire Giant yet, have it at the big intersection points like here, or closer to your own lane in the early phases of the game. So just a quick rundown of the rest of the items that I would probably go as a hunter, which I don't play hunter too much, so I'm just going to say that. I'm just going by on what I typically see in game and on the tournaments that I watch on the weekends. So after Conquest, you could probably go after Rage or Malice, up to you. I'll probably go with Malice. And then finish it up with either more life. Well, like I said, it kind of depends. Like, you can go with one more lifesteal item because you may need some more lifesteal for the fights. So, oh yeah, I was gonna say Aussie. Aussie's another somewhat popular item to get as the hunter. So if you don't want to get like Bloodforge or whatever, Aussie's fairly cheap and it's pretty effective. So you can get Aussie after Sace, and then go ahead and go with Rage or Malice, and then sell your Death Toll, and then just pick up the Deathbringer, and then you're good to go. So that will sum it all up for the Hunter and Conquest dual lane. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, and for subscribers. Oh, kind of messed it up. Subscribers, yeah. Bye guys, see you guys later.